Hey guys, Mr. Mackey here. Now yesterday I introduced you to ratios and I was showing you how to share items in the forms of a ratio in its simplest form. And I set you the challenge to create a 3-part ratio using this information. Now the problem is we can't really start creating this ratio yet because we don't know what all 3 parts are worth. We know this is 50, this is 40, but we don't know what the green is worth. So we have to fill in the blanks. 50 and 40 makes 90. What do we add to 90 to get the total of 120? It's 30. So now that we've done that, we can now start writing our ratio. So we do the red, then the blue, and then the green. But I want it simplified. So we get rid of the zeros. And can we simplify it anymore? No, because 5 and 3 are both prime numbers, so we leave it like that. And this is a simplified version of the ratio I was looking for. Now today, instead of creating ratios, we're going to be using ratios to share items. Let's look into it a bit further, and let's get into it. Now I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. Before the lockdown, but before this all blew up, I went to this tiny little country on a little weekend away, this tiny country in Eastern Europe called Estonia, and visited the city of Tallinn. Now it was one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. It was absolutely incredible. It's one of the most preserved medieval cities in the world and it's cheap. I 100% recommend that once this all ends, you go to visit Tallinn. It was incredible and I hope you guys have fun. Estonia is also interesting for this special little fact. There's actually more women in Estonia than men. And not many countries have this. Now, it's 5 women to every 3 men. So in the ratio, it's 5 to 3. Well, it's not 5 to 3, it's actually 4 o'clock at the moment, so I was a bit off. Now, while I was there, I went to a few things. I went to this event, which was in a restaurant. It was quite nice. It was sort of like a tasting thing. And there were 120 people there with me. Now I thought I'd play a little game while I was there, while I wasn't eating, because, I thought, I'll play a little game. I thought I'd make a prediction on how many women there are and how many men there are, not including myself. So, I want to share 120 people into the ratio 5 to 3. Now, the one thing I will say is we're not going to be simplifying this today. The reason why is because when we simplify it, we'll just end up at 5 to 3 again. So we're going to do it without simplifying. So how I first do it is I imagine that the 5 here is split into these 5 blocks, representing the women. And then the 3 here is split into these 3 blocks, representing the men. Now, all of these blocks put together, that makes 8 blocks in total. But I want to find out how much 1 block is worth. So I'm going to divide 120 by 8, which gets us 15. So each of these blocks are worth 15 people. Now, for the women's side, there's 5 of those blocks. So we just do 5 times 15. And that gets us 75. Now for the men, there's 3 blocks, so we times 15 by 3, and that gets us 45. And that's all we have to do. We don't simplify it because we'll just go back to this. So that's basically the essence. We shared 120 people into the ratio, so it's 75 to 45. Fantastic. Let's look at another one. Another city in Europe I visited in February was Copenhagen, which is the capital of Denmark. Now, while there, another fact you might not know is Copenhagen actually has a huge population of bikes. There's actually 4 bikes to every 1 person. How can you have so many bikes? Now, while I was there, I did a little walk and I noticed on my walk 300 bikes. How many people would I then have spotted based on that fact? And from that, what was the total? So, let's look into it. So first I'm going to draw my little blocks. Now these represent all the bikes. And then I'll do my one little block here to represent the people. Now, from this, all of this is worth 300. Not 3,000, 300. So if all of those 4 blocks make 300, we have to find out what one of those blocks is worth. So we do 300 divided by 4, which gets us 75, which I'll write in here. Now, all we have to do is find out how much this block is. Well, it's the same as that, and we found out what one block is worth. So, just drop my pen. That makes 75. So the actual ratio that we should have written was 300 to 75. So what's the total? Well, we just add what's in the box. 375 gets you 375. Simple. Ratios are quite easy when you think about it. All you need to do is, it's simple. It's kind of like algebra. You need to remember the division, you need to remember the parts, and you need to remember where everything goes. It's quite straightforward. So, I think it's time for your challenge. So, here is your challenge for today. Firstly, I want you to share £600 into the ratio 3 to 4 to 5. Now, the second thing I want you to do is create another ratio when the 3 represents £3,000. Create a new ratio with that and figure out the new total. Hope you're okay with that. Good luck with this. I'll see you tomorrow. And we're going to be moving on from ratios tomorrow. We're going to move on to something a bit more different. Let's see how you do. Take care, guys. Good luck.